Before we begin our actual presentation, I just want to make sure that everybody is able to see the screen, can find the green drop-down menu, and join the chat. We encourage you to introduce yourself. This webinar is brought to you by the e-learning team. Actually, I'm a little klutzy at this, but our producer is Mary Carnahan, and she has another webinar coming up actually next Tuesday. And wait a minute, that looks like the date's possibly different. January 17th at 4 p.m., so trust what the slide says. This webinar is a collaboration with the IUP-UI team, and they'll be talking about redesigning e-learning for all learners. We're really excited. They actually just did an Instagram takeover last week, and we'll be doing an INeLearn chat takeover this week. And so it's a whole series of discussions that have been happening around this idea of how do we better design an e-learning environment when our students are learning virtually or through digital means. So do look at that description on our website and register for that. We also have Twitter chats, as we mentioned, and those are every Thursday, and there you can see specifically this week's topic. Michele Eaton is our regular moderator for online and blended learning. As you know, she's also one of our presenters today. She is actually stepping aside to let our guests talk this week. We have upcoming professional development, really very much connected. All of these things are connected to today's theme, our topic. So the book club is actually conducted over 10 weeks on Blogger, and it begins on the 6th, and Mary is our moderator for the book club as well, and she has selected Launch Using Design Thinking to Boost Creativity and Bring Out the Maker in Every Student. So we encourage you to get a hold of the book and sign up on the blog and join her next month as we celebrate Digital Learning Month and all kinds of things creative. Currently, we are in the middle of Speak Up Indiana, actually closer to the end than the middle. The deadline has been extended, so you have an extra 2 weeks to conduct the Speak Up survey in your school district through January 27th. If you take part this week, there's a chance that you can win all types of prizes. And if you haven't been to the website, it's there, and hopefully you can match that and use it. We might put it in the chat for us. And for certain, we will be tweeting it out as well as putting it's on our Facebook and it's on our Google+. So you can connect with that, and we'll be sharing all of INeLearn's connections towards the end. And then this brings us to our planned presentation. So resolve to get connected, and this is presented by most of the INeLearn moderator team. We actually have a team that breaks up different weeks of the month, and so you'll get to hear from each of them. We are missing our classroom teacher moderator team. They actually are involved with a robotics competition today, so we wish them well in their competition, and perhaps you'll get a chance to hear from them another time. So with that, I'm going to bring our moderators in so they can introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Michele Eaton. I'm the Director of Virtual and Blended Learning for the MSD of Wayne Township. I take on second Thursdays of the INeLearn chat, and my specialty is online and blended learning. So there's my Twitter handle and my email address. And I'm excited about talking about connected learning today because I feel like connecting myself as an educator has helped me break out of silos that you can find, especially in a very specific area like online learning. There aren't necessarily always a bunch of people around you doing the same thing you are. So connecting allows me to learn with and grow alongside other professionals around the world.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
We can.
Hello, I'm Amy Heavin. I am the principal and lead learner at Ryan Park Elementary School, which is in MSD of Steuben County in Angola. You can catch me at Amy Heavin, which is my professional Twitter account, and at Ryan Park Rhinos, which is our official school Twitter account. and I moderate the third Thursday of the month for INeLearn, which is the digital leadership strand. You can also find me writing periodically on my blog, amyheaven.blogspot.com. And when it comes to being a connected educator, you know, I have not always been one. I worked in a silo, I was in an isolation, you know, just sharing ideas with those people across the hall or, you know, in district meetings. But I met another educator in my current position, Kelly Clifford, and we both had Twitter accounts but did nothing with them. So we ended up challenging each other, and we pushed each other. We became connected together. We started growing our PLNs and talking about who we were, following, and then we jumped into Twitter chats, and that's the greatest advice that I can give. We don't do this alone. Connected educators do this together. And so do it with someone special, jump in together, and have that courage to try something new, which can change your professional life forever, which is what it did for me. I became a better educator and a better leader because I'm connected.
I love that, Amy. And you know what? I've heard Kelly talk about that experience too, and I know it was the same for her. So those of you in the webinar who are thinking about getting started, find a buddy.
Hi there. My name is Diana Gill, and I am the Instructional Technology Coach at East Porter County School Corporation up in Northwest Indiana. And I'm part of the moderating team that does the chat on the first Thursday of the month, and our strand is for coaches. And I'm relatively new to the coaching world. This is my second year as a technology coach, and before I became a coach, I had never worked with a coach. I've never worked in a district that had a coach, and the district that I currently work in had never had a technology coach either. And so when I was first hired, I'll be honest, I remember not even really knowing how to explain my job to somebody else when they asked. And I've been able to build and continue to improve this coaching position in my district 100% because of the connections that I've made, particularly in connecting with the INeLearn and the other coaches in the state.
Thanks, Diana. We're glad to have you here.
Hi, I'm Pam O'Risky, and I'm another member of the month chat, and it is the coaching chat. I'm an e-learning coach from Mount Vernon. If you look at the map of Indiana, you'll see that I am as far south as you can get in Indiana, and that's a remote for everyone else. So being connected Gill and Heavin in the northern part of the state, Keshia Seitz in the southeastern corner of the state, and middle. We have several in the middle. Connected connects all states. And like Diana, I'm a second-year educator, but a second-year coach is deeply appreciated. This will help me be being connected has helped me be a better coach.
Pam, I'm going to ask if maybe there's another number we can call on. Your audio was a bit broken up, and I suspect others were having the same issue. We'll give you a second to try to get reconnected. Sometimes it's just a matter of closing up well, no, it's not. I lied because it's on the phone. But let me know how that goes.
Okay.
Thanks. Sorry. Okay, do we have Keshia on the line?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, Keshia, take it away.
Awesome. So my name is Keshia Seitz, and I promise I don't always sound this way. I just have a cold. So bear with me today. I am the Director of Innovative Learning at 5-Star Technology Solutions in the southeast corner of the state. I used to live over where Pam is and had the opportunity to work with her in Mount Vernon as an e-learning coach. Learned a lot over there. So now basically what I do is I just work with teachers and administrators and help with their coaching needs. So all my contact information is on the left. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. My cell phone number's on there, so text, call, whatever. I'm happy to help at any time. My reasons for being a connected educator, there are 3 ones that like really stood out in my head when I was thinking about this. And the first one is just the connected nature of education in general, especially in Indiana. With changes that are going on, you never know where you'll see a name pop up in another district or somewhere else. So for me, it has been so advantageous to connect with other learners through social media, and then I'm amazed how many times I run into them in real life, or how that has helped me advance my career or to help somebody else advance their career. And so that's one of the things that popped out to me. The other thing that stood out in my head is that, you know, that center image of like just the light bulb moment that happens, or like the creation. So a lot of times I'll go out and I'll start looking for something, or I don't even know I'm looking for an idea, and I get this idea and I become inspired, or what I thought I wanted to do, I now have taken to a whole other level because it's someone else's awesome idea. So I think that that's one of the biggest advantages for me in being a connected learner, a connected educator, is just the ability to have someone who challenges me to think differently and to be creative. And the last piece for me is feedback. I cannot tell you how many times I have sent a message out to my INeLearn family and my INeLearn family and said, hey, here's this, I'm thinking about doing that. What did that work for you? What did you think? And so the amount of feedback that I have received throughout my career has been tremendous. It's been fantastic. And again, that feedback challenges me and pushes me to be better for the people that I work with.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Keshia. So now you have met basically 3/4 of our INeLearn moderator team, not really by numbers, more so by teams within the larger team. And these women are all volunteers. If you do notice that they're all women, that's just because I haven't had any men volunteer lately. So just putting that out there, and just in case anybody's interested, to let you know it's a non-gender preference role, but it just so happens that this group of women have really been phenomenal leaders for our INeLearn network. So I'm going to ask Pam if she has been able to reconnect her audio. Unfortunately, I can't see if
Can you hear me?
You sound crystal clear to me. So hopefully the winds have died down. I'm down on the southern end of the state with Pam, and I know how nasty the wind is right now. I'm going to turn it over to Pam. She is going to launch us off on the first of our reasons. We have six ideas that we're going to be sharing with you today, and she's bringing you the first set. So take it away, Pam.
Okay, these are just 6 reasons for being connected. There's probably a lot more, but we want to talk about these 6. Number 1 is making your teaching fun. And getting new ideas and resources from Pinterest, Facebook, Google communities is a great way to find new material and fun material. Okay, number 2. We'll wait for them to advance their slide. There we go. Be the first to hear of the latest in education. An example of this is being a member of the e-learning book club blog that will be reading the launch book on February the 6th. The launch book is an excellent read on maker movements and design thinking, 2 important topics in education today. Reason number 3. Advance, please. There we go. Professional development in PJs. Whether it's Twitter chats from your home or the beach, or a hangout or a webinar from your classroom, PD, professional development, is fun and easy by being connected. Reason number 4. Free mentors and coaches. Building a personal learning network of teachers and mentors and coaches makes you a better educator or a better leader. Number 5 is reaffirming your beliefs and supporting your goals. Do you ever feel like you're all alone? Do you need advice or maybe a good lesson plan? Or it's right at your fingertips if you're connected. Now, reason number 6 is constant reflection on your educational endeavors. A master teacher or a master leader constantly questions and evaluates their practices and their progress. Being connected gives you the opportunity to reflect on your goals. And one way that you can do that is to join us in the INeLearn chats every Thursday. Now, here's Diana Gill with 5 tips for becoming a connected educator.
Okay, so the first tip is to think of yourself as a learner. As a connected educator, it's important, probably even more so, to think of yourself as a connected learner. The more connected that you become, the more opportunities that you'll find to learn and grow. And this makes me think about one of the principals in my district. Shout out to Tom Stoner. He likes to say to his staff, "You are a professional, so develop." And he really encourages his staff to take charge of their own learning. And being a connected learner, it's really just that, taking advantage of all of those amazing opportunities that there are to improve as an educator. The Office of E-Learning does a great job directing us to high-quality professional development opportunities. Some examples are webinars, and you can either watch these live or watch at your convenience. It's a great way to learn. I really love the webinars that EdWeb puts together. Joining a Twitter chat weekly or whenever you can, particularly on a new or challenging topic, it's a good place to make connections and to pick up some information. I try to lurk in Twitter chats, specifically if I see a topic that I don't really know much about or if it's something that scares me. I'll try to lurk and pick up some info on it. Joining an online book club to read a professional text can also keep us challenged and supported. It also personally keeps me accountable in keeping up with my professional reading. When the e-learning book club starts, my district always creates a small group of people, and we encourage each other within our own district through the process, and we try to get together to share some food at the end and celebrate and talk about the book within our own network as well. And so then personally in my own role, I feel charged with keeping up to date with Google updates, new tools, ideas. And so my final tip with being a learner as a connected educator is to subscribe to different blogs. It's an almost immediate way to stay knowledgeable. I recommend choosing 3 or 4 that support what you do in your role. It's quick to hop in your email and take a look at what that blogger is sharing out for that day. The second tip is to share because you have something valuable to contribute. When you find the networks to participate in, I encourage you to jump in and share your ideas and what you've created. Every personal learning network is built on the experience and knowledge and expertise of every single member in that network. And I'm sure that at one time or another, we've all kind of had the feeling of, well, maybe what I have to share might not be good enough, it might not be worth sharing. But again, I challenge you to just jump in and share. Share something out, ask for feedback on it, ask questions, ask for suggestions on technology tools to use in your classroom. Reach out and ask for resources. Many times before I start creating something from scratch, whether it's for a teacher or for some professional development in my district, I'll reach out to a network or to someone in my area to see if anybody wants to collaborate on something or to share what they've already made. If you create something and share it out, I will, as kind of a side note, share a good practice to get into is to license your work with Creative Commons. There are a number of different ways to license your work with Creative Commons, and what I love about this practice is the modeling, showing our students and each other that there is an appropriate way to use each other's ideas and attribute them, which is a really good approach to broach the topic of digital citizenship. The next tip is to be in charge of your story. Being a connected educator will leak into your classroom, right? It will positively impact all aspects of your teaching. Expanding that connected mindset to connect with your parents and your students will benefit you as well. Telling the story of your classroom, giving your students a chance to tell your classroom story too. Consider creative ways to reach out to your parents and your students, whether that's with Facebook or Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, whatever. Think about your audience, though. I know that in our area, parents use Facebook and students tend to use Twitter. Within your class, you can give your students opportunities to become connected learners with social media as well. Setting up Google Hangouts with other classrooms or letting your students participate in different Twitter chats can provide that authentic audience that we're always looking for. Of course, consider your district's expectations for using social media with students. If your school does not encourage the use of social media with students, there are countless other ways to explore personal learning networks for kids, even if you take more of a walled garden approach. The next tip is to know that there are no limits. Being a connected educator takes you outside of the four walls of your classroom. Find those natural collaborators inside of your school, even if it's just a person that is your place to bounce ideas off of. Connect with other teachers in your district to collaborate on curriculum or student projects. Go beyond that and connect with teachers in your state or within your area to share resources and ideas. The person that I bounce ideas off of most often does not even work in the same district as me, but I talk to this person pretty much every single day, and that connection has been insanely beneficial. Connect globally for yourself and for your class. An idea of this would be to connect your class with a classroom in another country via Skype or Google Hangouts. I have a teacher in our district who often connects her Spanish class with a native Spanish-speaking family in Spain, and the kids love to do that. Using Twitter and Google+, that allows us to connect with professionals in the field, authors. Really, there are no limits to what our connections can look like because of social media. And really, the point that I'm making here is that the more connected you become as an educator, the more connected your students can become as a result of that. And finally, the last tip is to investigate and try. There are so many ideas, tools, resources out there, and sure, you can become overwhelmed by all of it. And my advice is just to, again, consider your audience, your purpose, and investigate to find the right ideas and the tools for you to start to get connected. And of course, if you're not sure where to start, there are a bunch of us available to give you suggestions. If you are out there and just getting started in becoming a connected educator, I absolutely encourage you to join the INeLearn network on Twitter. Even if you aren't sure about a Twitter chat right away, simply scrolling through that hashtag will give you tons of info and ideas. That's pretty much my Monday morning ritual, hopping on Twitter and taking a look at the hashtag to see what I might have missed over the weekend. And then secondly, I recommend joining the online community of practice to connect with others in your role or your content area.
Well, there are 4 easy ways that you can build your network. And I'm going to focus on Twitter, but you can really apply this to so many different applications. Your network, or your professional learning network, we call it PLN, are the people you surround yourself with daily in Twitterverse. So once you're on Twitter, it's important that you do a few things to not only familiarize yourself with Twitter, but begin building that network that will be crucial to your growth as an educator. So first, you need to take a look at your own profile. I believe it is key. You need to let people know who you are and why they should follow you, because we each have something very valuable to give to others. Make sure that you upload a picture of yourself, get rid of that Twitter egg, and even add a header picture that gives a little more insight into who you are. More than that, tell a little bit about yourself in your own profile. I have kept my professional Twitter account about me as an educator as one account, and then my school Twitter account is something separate. That's my choice. That's something that I choose to do to separate the two. I always think about that message that I'm sending and who is following me. Do I want my parents reading my Twitter chat feed? Probably not, but it's totally up to you. You are what you tweet, so you always have to remember, this is my profile, this is what's out there, and this is what I'm sharing with the world. So once you're comfortable with your profile, then we switch to hashtags. We're going to explore those hashtags. Hashtags are like those common threads or those topics, and there is literally a hashtag for everything. I found CybraryMan on Twitter, and I would suggest to anyone to Google CybraryMan, click on his Educator Twitter page, and you will find a ton of resources to get you started. He has created massive lists of hashtags categorized based on interest and topic. So hashtags are going to clue you into people worth following and conversations worth listening to. Then once you have found a couple of hashtags to follow, you can start following them through your search on Twitter or use a cool tool like TweetDeck, and you're going to hear about that soon. Lurk those hashtags. And lurking is perfectly okay. Lurking is a term used just simply following that Twitter stream and not tweeting in return. So I'll be honest, I lurked for quite a few months before I jumped into Twitter. But I kept thinking, I'm learning, I'm growing, and I'm becoming more confident the more I lurk. So that's fine. Once you lurk, then jump right in, and then retweet, favorite, and even post an article on Twitter and use that hashtag that you've been following. It's really exciting to see what's next, what happens next. There's just nothing better than getting those notifications for the first time and seeing that people are seeing what you're putting out there, they're enjoying what you're sharing. And it's really like a little high that you get. It's wonderful. It's awesome. So then finally, to build your network, you need to follow people. Follow more people than who you follow. So follow people using that hashtag. Again, it all goes down to those conversations with the hashtags that you enjoy. Add at least one person to your network daily. Actually, you're going to find that you're going to want to follow more than one person daily, but set that as a goal and get started with one a day. Building your network is really easy and can take you on those next steps of becoming even more connected as an educator, which is joining those Twitter chats. I lean on my PLN daily. They keep me inspired, they keep me going, they keep me alive in education and what is happening, and it really is a wonderful opportunity. So we're going to continue. And I'm going to turn it over to Keshia on how you keep your cool in a Twitter chat.
Awesome, thanks. A lot of what you just heard, I'm going to reinforce on this slide. One of the things that I hear a lot in talking to teachers is that when you're new to Twitter, it is super overwhelming. So I had to think about it, and I had to reflect on my own experience using Twitter, and it can be overwhelming. It's just a lot of things going on. So I'm going to simplify this for you into 3 easy things that you can do to keep calm, cool, and collected and get the most out of your Twitter experience. So the first thing that comes to mind is to just keep calm and ask questions. If you don't know, please ask. I can't tell you how many times I've been inside of Twitter or inside of any tool that I use, and I'm like, oh man, I don't know how to do this. And I could either sit there and goof around with it and maybe figure it out, or I could just ask somebody, and chances are they'd be like, oh yeah, and they can help you out. So and also use your friend Google. So reach out and type into Google and ask your question, and I'm sure that someone else has asked the same question. So that saves me personally a lot of frustration inside of Twitter or inside of anything else. I see a lot of times people using certain hashtags and they feel kind of left out, right? Like, I don't know what that means. I don't even know where to begin or which hashtags to even follow, or I just get so overwhelmed. So Google is your friend, but then also reach out to your real life friends that you see on a daily basis and ask them as well. Or just post to Twitter, and I'm sure that somebody will help you. Send a little tweet out. The second way that you can keep your cool is by using a tool like TweetDeck. And I know you can't really see it in the picture here. There's several options for you. That's the one that I use. It is super easy to get set up. And basically what it does is it helps you keep organized. Whenever I am inside of Twitter, oftentimes I am very overwhelmed by all the things that are going on all at once. So what I can do is I can track different hashtags, different groups that I'm following. So I could actually participate in multiple conversations at the same time, or I could just at a glance kind of figure out what's going on, kind of like when I turn on the TV and see what's going on in the news. It recaps that for me. So this is kind of the same concept there. And then the third way that I like to keep cool in a Twitter chat is just to remember that I am embracing a growth mindset. I am not embracing a fixed mindset anymore. I always have things to learn. I am not going to spend hours of my day on Twitter. Or on any other platform for that matter. But I do have a few minutes a day or every once in a while where I can get on there and I can learn something, or I can think about something in a different way. So really embracing the idea that I don't have to learn everything all at once, but just one quick takeaway, or maybe there's some days I don't get anything. How can I then contribute? How can I move forward and share something that I'm doing with someone else and help them to grow?
And I want to talk to you a little bit. You probably already have a whole list of things that you could get started on today. But if I had to narrow it down to 2 things that you could get started this afternoon, the 2 things I would say would be find a hashtag and retweet. So hashtag, rinse, repeat, retweet actually. The first, let's talk about hashtags first. When you go into Twitter and you do a search for a hashtag, which is just a label, and there are some labels that get used more frequently than others, and you can make a hashtag or a label for anything you want. But generally, hashtags are what allows you to distinguish, to kind of get through all the junk on Twitter, all of the Justin Bieber, and then look at this picture of my breakfast I had, all of that stuff. A hashtag allows you to filter down to very specific tweets that have to do with education, because they were very intentionally placed there. So the first hashtag to look for, INeLearn. We've mentioned this one over and over again, but if you go to twitter.com and you type in the search bar, hashtag INeLearn, all of the tweets that you're going to see are going to be tweets from Indiana educators who are interested in e-learning in some form or fashion. It's a really active hashtag, and so we really encourage you. You can spend 5 minutes and learn something new just by searching that hashtag. And when you do decide to tweet, if you're an Indiana educator interested in e-learning and the tweet has to do with e-learning, we encourage you to add that hashtag so that other people can find it. This is another great tip. When you are first tweeting, it can be a little bit discouraging. Let's say I get on Twitter and I create my first account and I have 2 followers. Well, if you're not using hashtags, then you're probably tweeting to just those 2 followers, and only if they happen to be online about the same time that you're tweeting. So it really can be a big waste of time. Hashtags allow you to give a broader audience to the things that you're tweeting to, even if you have a really small following right at the beginning. So first, check out INeLearn. The next hashtag I would encourage you to check is EdChat. Hashtag EdChat. You do a search of that, it's going to update every 15 seconds. This is probably the most popular education hashtag that's out there right now. And anything related to education, someone might throw on hashtag EdChat to the end of the tweet. So this one might be a little bit more broad. You'll start, as you start browsing and lurking a little bit more, you'll find more specific hashtags that are of interest to you. But that's a good one to, if you're wanting to just see how this whole Twitter thing works, you want to find something education related, learn something new, find some good people to follow, do a search of hashtag EdChat. The next one I'd like to tell you about, you can actually find hashtags for grade levels and for subject matter. If you're looking, let's say you're a 2nd grade teacher, if you type in hashtag second chat, 2ND chat, you'll find a bunch of tweets that are very specific to 2nd grade education. If you are looking for social studies content, your social studies teacher, hashtag SSChat is a great one to look for. In a couple of slides, I'm going to show you a link to the Cybraryman website that Amy was talking about, and that one will give you a list of all of those. But you can find very specific to your grade level or subject matter. And then finally, I know in Indiana and across the country, Chromebooks and Google are really big, and so I wanted to share this one too. Hashtag Google EDU is a great hashtag to search if you're looking for very specific information about Chromebooks or G Suite, Google Apps for Education, those type of things. That's a really great one too, but very specific if, to those Google users. And then finally, like I said, this URL, if you go to tinyurl.com/ed hashtag, it will take you directly to Cybraryman's hashtag website, and that will give you a whole list of more education hashtags than you could ever possibly want to know about, but it might be fun to just browse and see if there are any that catch your eye. And then finally, so search hashtags. That's the best way to learn something. I always say, you know, teachers are super, super busy. We're all got so much on our plate. But what better way to learn? We're all learners, and what better way to learn than using a tool that allows you to learn something new in 5 minutes? So I can, while I'm standing in line, or maybe you have a kid in gymnastics or soccer practice and you're sitting on the sidelines, you can learn something new using the device right in your pocket. The next thing I'd like to encourage you to do is just to retweet. We've said over and over again that it's not necessary for you to feel like you have to contribute a whole lot to Twitter right at the very beginning. It's okay to be a little selfish and just take it all in. You'll be able to give back soon enough, but it can be a little bit intimidating trying to figure out what you want to share, how you do it, all the, you know, which hashtags to add. So I'd encourage you, search the hashtags, find great stuff, soak up as much as you can, and then when you see something great, hit that little retweet button, which is those 2 little arrows, and share it out with the people that follow you too. It's a quick and easy way to begin contributing on Twitter.
Is it Michelle's turn to talk? Michelle Greens.
Oh, I probably muted myself instead of unmuted myself. So sorry.
I hear you now.
I had to switch phones because my battery was dying. So I'm so sorry about that. Okay, so this is Michelle. I'm back. And you probably see that we have one last tip, and that is one Twitter PLN to join. And it's probably no surprise that we're recommending it be INeLearn. Of course, there could be lots of other PLNs that might be a really good match for you, but we do encourage you to join your state network if you would. INeLearn just celebrated its 4th anniversary back in November, so we're still a relatively new network. And we threw up the pictures, or I actually threw up the pictures of our T-shirt. You may have seen these out and about when you're at different conferences over the summer, or maybe even just the regular course of a work day at your school. But we do, really encourage people. The idea is that we're connecting educators one tweet at a time. And like Michelle mentioned, when you first start tweeting, if that's the platform you choose, or any platform for that matter, really, a lot of times it does feel like you're the only one in a room talking to yourself, kind of like, I feel right now talking to a phone, knowing that you're back there and I can't see the chat window. The key is that hashtag, just like Michelle said. One of the things I find most fulfilling in my job is the idea that no tweeter is going to be left behind. If you tweet to INeLearn or at INeLearn, our office profile will make sure that you get some kind of response, even if it's answering you. So I just want to encourage everyone to go ahead and take the plunge if you haven't already. And let's go ahead and move to questions. I'm going to pop out of the full view so that we can see the chat question. So right now I just saw the shirt question. Pam, we have sold these through a fundraising program, and the host of each sale has the proceeds. For example, ICE Indiana did it for us once, and then they donated all their funds to sponsor breakfast for one of the Coach Ed camps. So lots of different possibilities for getting a shirt that way. Any other questions from our participants? What I'm going to do is I'm also going to share the slide deck with you, so I'm going to pop that into the chat. Give me a minute. Can someone tell me if you can hear me?
I can hear you.
Hey, it's so quiet. I was worried. Thank you. So no questions. Everybody's feeling confident. You're all going to jump out there and just get going. Here are the slides, so everyone can see those if they want to go back and review. And I mentioned at the last slide on the presentation, following the questions and answers, you'll see there are a list of links, and that this is the best part about being able to share the slides with you. You have all of those resources to get in touch with our office, but then again, you can go through the different slides, and you especially can look through where our presenters connected with you and shared a little bit about themselves, and you can see their handles, and you can pull those things up as well. So it's nice to have that resource. That's great, Tammy. I saw your post in the chat. You know, honestly, I had Twitter for 2 years before I regularly used it. It was one of those things where I would go to a conference and think, oh, I should pull up the hashtag, and then I'd have to remember what my password was, and then I'd have to go through the whole thing of resetting it because I couldn't remember. And I did that probably for 3 or 4 conferences, so that's why I know it's probably been, it was about 2 years. And then somewhere in 2011, I don't know if it was that I was at a conference or just that I was in a conversation, but something sparked, and I thought, you know what, I need to be better about this. And kind of like Diana mentioned, I need to start off my week. For me, it was I need to end my week checking in, because Saturday mornings, as sad as it sounds, Saturday mornings was my quiet time, and I thought perfect time to sit down and just look at what I missed during the week. And then I discovered Saturday chat that way, and it was extraordinary. So never hesitate to up your game. You know, we all start somewhere. It's just a matter of keep on moving. Trust me, I use a new tool to keep track of all my passwords, so I hear you. But now I also am a regular user, and that does make a difference. Yeah, and Michelle said if you're up early on a Saturday, and that's true. There's also a West Coast Saturday chat, which is really nice for us East Coast folks, or if you're like me, I'm Central Time, even 2 hours makes a difference. That's WC Sat Chat. I believe it's the WC's in the front, not the back, but that way you have the later time zone to start with too. So I see Anne's point that you would like to learn with somebody. I suspect there's probably somebody in your area that's using Twitter that would love to bring you into the fold and help with that. I don't know personally what your networks are, but I would just like put the message out there. I'm interested, and see who steps up, because people love, once you discover the benefits of being connected, the perks that come along with it, even just the little things like, I love how Pam talked about bringing fun into the classroom. Once you've experienced that, you really want that for your colleagues. So people are anxious to help you. Oh, and thanks for sharing that, Michelle. That's a great resource. Matt Miller does normal blogging at Digital Textbook. He's also a Google Certified Innovator and does a lot of things related to that, but in general has just tons of resources on his blog. Any other questions or thoughts from anybody? It really killed me that I couldn't be in chat. I see some of you guys shared some great resources, TweetDeck, Hootsuite, all great stuff. So many great things were shared today. I really appreciate everybody being here. It looks like we're going to go ahead and get out of class early. One of those perks of being in a webinar that we got through our material. It looks like everybody's confident. You do know where to find our moderators, and they will be on the hashtag on Thursday nights. And so thanks everybody for coming today. Thank you to the moderator team. You make a huge difference in our state for educators and even beyond, quite honestly. Last week's chat was an international conversation, and I couldn't be more proud that that network is possible because of each of you. So thank you all for being here today, and go out and get connected.